Hello everybody and welcome back to Europa, where we have been working on our internals for a while now, and we've actually gotten a lot done in that regard. We've worked on some integration, although that's definitely not as fast as we'd like. The most important thing is this inflation is coming down, and that's huge. Absolutely enormous for us. So next up, we of course need to spend some money here pretty soon. So let's take a look. Are we going to be going for a building or are we going for an RGO? 0.78, but we're already building a Spinner's Guild. So 0.77. That would be what we'd really be looking at. And then, of course, it would be 0.71 to build in Tembesha, but we're full there. So it's actually in Kubar. Okay, so building it is. And that, of course, means we'll be building, well, the Tools Guild. There we go. So there's that money spent for now, and our inflation is still currently dropping, 0.14% per month. Cool. Local witch hunts, huh? Local monthly literacy is not ideal. Forbidding the witch hunts would drop a state's satisfaction equilibrium by 5%. I'm not sure that actually matters all that much right now. This would be for 10 years. I'll take it. So that will likely, that might not actually drop our taxes much at all. So I think that's not going to have a huge impact on us at this moment. Like, our estates are pretty okay. So that seems wonderful for right now. So that's all great. And I'm watching these Kambata Patriots. Where are they? Down here? Okay, I don't really care so much about that. That's reasonably fine. We can let them fire. The Somali Patriots, on the other hand, we care about that a little bit. We want to have this integration happen before they fire, which is still a long ways off. It's like 11 years off. No, it's like 27 years off. That's going to be a while. This one's going to be done in about 2 years, though, and that's definitely making better progress. So that seems good for now, and we will continue to work on those. I would very much like to appoint a character to these, but I just can't justify this price. Not when we could build buildings or RGOs with that money. So we'll get those later once we have worse things to invest in. Okay, so we now have access to cannon. And that is, of course, a very big deal when we actually make them, which we're not going to do yet. For the time being, we could go for banking. Bank interest and loan capacity doesn't really help us that much right now, but it might help us later. If Yemen declares war on us and we're low on cash and we want to recruit up quick, then yeah, that's going to be a little painful. Of course, we also have this small issue of being at full manpower right now, and that's not necessarily ideal either. But for the time being, it's fine. So we're going to hop into our buildings here, and let's see what we've got here. So 0.74 for a brewery, and then if we go for an RGO, this would end up being, I think we determined it was going to be 0.66. Yeah, so that's definitely getting a lot lower there. No doubt about it. So buildings are generally better at this moment. We'll just get a brewery going in. And that seems fine for now, but we are going to continue to work on those RGOs as well. Okay, so everything is progressing fairly well at this moment. We do have the ask for money country action, but we can't actually ask anyone. So I don't know why it's telling us this. we can't ask anyone. So that's absolutely fine. And as far as this crackdown on Somali Patriots goes, we know that this is a reduction of 0.35. So their overall progress would be 0.29 per month. And they would end up firing... Wait, what? Oh, that doesn't open up the Patriots. Okay, that's odd. They'd end up firing about like this. And that would definitely be a little bit painful. We'd have this fort here, and there's all of this out over here that could theoretically join it, I think is what this is saying. There's this fort down here. So we would really rather not siege them. would be the idea. We're going to get our aristocratic court very shortly here. Seems good. Dramatic currency revaluation. Ooh. 20 stability and 10 prestige. I don't care about the prestige. The 20 stability for 4 inflation is interesting. It would mean that we're going to be in negative stability for a little while. But maybe our legitimacy is high enough where that wouldn't be a problem. We'll heed their advice and drop 4%. Okay, so now we need to bring our stability back up to 0. Although I'm not sure we actually need to be making this expenditure. I'm going to do it anyway, because I do want to bring our stability back up to positive. This will only be a few months of doing this. So that's absolutely fine. We have that estate loyalty equilibrium, right? And that's definitely something that we want to be a little concerned about. So we'll work our way through this. This is going to be what, like somewhere around a year of this or so? Something along those lines. So that seems fine for the moment. No problem there. How's our annexation going? Well, that's going to take a while. No doubt about that. About 35 more years to get that fully annexed. That's understood. I want to check in on how these guys are doing on their loyalty. It's holding about the same. That's fine. I'm not actually that concerned about their loyalty at this juncture. So we've got enough money to do an investment, and I want to do so. So let's go ahead and grab ourselves, well, we could work on a brewery. We're building one right now, I believe. Yeah, there's a brewery being built right now, and there's also a tools guild being built right now. So the Paper Makers Guild would be the most sure bet here at 0.68. Let's check in on our RGOs, and we can see that these are actually starting to get hired in, which is neat. But for now, it would be this one, which is not actually ideal. So we would end up going for a Paper Makers Guild. There we go. Okay, so that is underway, and we will just continue to bank up our money and invest our money as we can. So our stability is at -5 at this moment, and we're going to be turning down our stability investment soon, once we get back to positive. We don't have a looming disaster, and that is because our legitimacy is high enough, and that's absolutely fantastic. In fact, can we cut? No. I still want to be gaining a little bit of legitimacy here. So we'll be sitting about there for right now. We are down to 190% inflation, which is definitely an improvement over where it was. And that'll be a pretty significant gain for us, that 4%. I think it's worth what we're putting into it, which is just ducats. We're just putting ducats into it, and I'm completely fine with that. Essentially, we're doing what I had mentioned an episode or two ago, where we buy back the money and destroy it. Fundamentally, that's what's happening here. So that's very good. Very, very good indeed. So we're going to be out of stability deficit very shortly. We're at 3.17 at this moment. And we could turn off our stability investment. But like I said, I want to be just ever so slightly positive. So that'll be fine for right now. And then we'll put this money into more locations. Or rather, more buildings and RGOs. But of course, we do need these provinces to be integrated, and that will take a little while. So there's banking research. Cool. And what else are we interested in? Well, trade efficiency, probably not bad. What are we getting from trade? Anything? I don't see any trade in this. I guess trade income is here, 1.23. It's not nothing. So, sure, we could get some trade efficiency. Boost that up a little bit. It won't do much, but later on, I'm sure it'll do a lot more. So that seems fine for now. We'll get that underway. I want to check in on the progress of these institutions. So New World is not really spreading within our territory yet. Printing Press is kind of spreading within our territory a little bit. And then Pike and Shot is also starting to spread a little bit in our territory. Okay, cool. So that seems fine. Looks like we've got about 3 to 4 months at this stability level before we are ready to cut our stability investment. That seems absolutely fine. So again, we're allowing the Kambata Patriots to fire here. I'm really not very concerned about this. We'll be able to get them taken care of very swiftly. So that seems great. And then from there, I mean, we do have a lot more rebel factions brewing, but that's not terribly surprising. So at this moment, ooh, military treatise. Okay, sure. I'm waiting for this month tick, and then I'm cutting our stability. We won't quite be positive, but we'll be very close. There we go. So this is going to bring us up positive without any investment. So that is wonderful. We can now check in on another construction, and let's see what we've got. So a tools guild would be 0.71, and the RGOs look like we could build in Debark for 0.98, and that's definitely what we want to do. We're also very close to being able to build in Gondar for 1.12, and honestly, we might want to do this instead, because by the time this gets finished, we'll probably have enough laborers here. Oh yeah, we definitely will. So this is where we want to build. Perfect. So that's underway, looks good, and we're certainly going to be continuing to invest in our economy and bringing down our overall costs. We're now down below 190, and that is absolutely wonderful. This will be continuing to drop our expenses. Is this increased by inflation? No, it doesn't seem to be. Interesting. Discovery of a new world. Okay. Explorers from Castile have arrived on distant shores. Cool. This doesn't affect us. This is not going to be any... Oh, hello. We apparently can see this now. Okay. This doesn't affect us in any meaningful way. We don't intend to exploit the new world. So we're mostly just continuing to work on our integrations here. This is going to be done in October of this year, which is absolutely great. And that will be phenomenal. We'll be very, very happy that that is done. We're missing some lumber. Interesting. Well, we pretty much know what we need to do about that then. We need to build an RGO for our lumber here. So this would be like in Dima, but this is still populating in. So I'm going to sort by the name of the good, and then we're going to check here. So this is where all of our lumber production is. Upper Butana have asked us to improve our cultural view. We ought to accept or they will lose trust in us. Based on our current trust towards them, we would lose an additional 2 diplomatic reputation. Sure. That's fine. So that's not a bad thing. And then we can just check in here. We can see Dima is by far the best location to build this. And I'm going to go ahead and start that, but we clearly need a lot more laborers here. So that's understood. We'll expand our forestry there, but like I said, it needs a lot more. Okay, so there's our talented traders done, and we can go for like power projection. Power projection boosts our integration speed. So that's actually very good. I just noticed that in this tooltip when I was looking at this a moment ago. And yeah, power projection plus 7.25%. So this, if I understand this correctly, this will bring us to 17.25% when we finish this research, which is a big deal. Liberty desire and losing opinion probably doesn't matter. We'll take it. Okay, so they're still loyal. That sounds good. And we can now put more money into additional constructions here. So what do we want to do? Well, we can build a tools guild, 0.69, and we can go into the RGO builder, sort by income. There we go. And we can see that we're currently building in Gondar, but this is stalled. And we can build in Debark. That's what I'm going to do. There are 600 laborers available in Debark right now, remarkably. So we'll get that going. And over in Gondar, we are currently stalled. So we'd be delighted to get this forestry built up, but I don't think that's actually going to help. We clearly need to get some lumber going here. Gondar is now going to be done in negative 83 days. Okay, that's exciting. We are progressing this, so that seems okay. So there's a bunch of RGOs going in, but of course, at this point, I kind of just want to max out our RGOs. This would not be like tremendously efficient, right? But I kind of just want to do it. At least the ones that are making, you know, at least 0.1. But we'd start at the more profitable ones, for sure. So we're currently building here and here. We can start building here as well. We're maxed here, and then we can not afford this at this moment. So that's going to be 2-month ticks. We can get that going pretty soon. Our farms in Gondar are stalled again. Okay. They'll finish up eventually, I'm sure. So that seems fine. There's our province integration finished, and that is, of course, huge. We need to do more integration, and that is next going to be Mora? Sure. So how long is that going to take? And where is Mora? This is not Mora here. This is Mora up over here. So that'll currently be done 1 May 1527. Ooh, that's slow. Okay. Well, we'll get started on it. We need to get those finished eventually. So our forestry is expanding now, and hopefully, oh, we had an exceptional year. 7 stability, 171 ducats, or 5 research progress. We're going to take the ducats. Thank you very much. And I'm going to put that into more of these RGOs. I want to still be spreading out our RGOs because of the labor pool, right? So we want to be spreading these out somewhat. I'm assuming that's what mass expand RGO does. Expand RGO on Dima. Profit in 3 years would be 9.07. And that would be lumber. Interesting. Very interesting. It's also cheap, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So that seems fine. Where did that actually go? That's not... I don't see it building here. It's expanding farms in Axum. That doesn't seem to be showing up here. Wait, did that instantly construct it? I'm so confused right now. Let's check in on that. Once we have enough money to. If that instantly constructs it, that's insane. Absolutely wild, in fact. I haven't been using the mass construct lately, or like at all, but that's very interesting. It gave not only a surprising recommendation, but it also gave... Okay, so this is telling us that it's going to expand the RGO on Dima. So this is currently size 3. I'm going to do this. Size 3 plus 1. And now it appeared over here. Confusing. I'm not sure what happened last time then. It must have given us a different construction. Okay. I think it's doing basically what I was doing. I think it's sort of similar to the thought process that I was going with. Slightly different, I think, but slightly similar. Yeah, that's certainly very interesting. So these farms in Gondar are progressing again now, finally. And that is good, of course. We will continue to get these RGOs done. Is there an automated building constructor? Employment system is on first come, first served. That's fine. There doesn't seem to be any sort of an auto-expand buildings, from what I can tell. This is automation of our production methods. And this is automate our building construction. So you can just straight up automate it. Okay. That's interesting. But I'm not sure I want to do that. That'll probably spend money that we don't want to spend. Let's go ahead and grab this minting threshold. I don't think that'll actually help us right now while we're working on getting our minting gone. Or rather, getting our inflation gone. I don't think that'll help us right now. But when we turn our minting back up eventually, then that will be helpful. So that seems okay. And for now, we do need to be watching these Patriots here. They are still a little ways away from spawning. And that's absolutely understood. I'm not too concerned about them. We will be concerned eventually, but I wanted to check, was I correct in this? Yeah, look at that. 17.3 from power projection. So that is definitely going to be accelerating these integrations quite a lot. Okay, so that is a very, very good thing. We definitely want to be continuing to accelerate these integrations because we've got a long ways to go on them yet. A very long ways to go. So that's all understood, and I would like to put in some characters here, but I still feel like we're better off investing in RGOs and buildings at this moment. Our buildings are not quite so good in terms of their production here. If we look at the mass expand here, this is telling us that it wants to expand into bark, which would make sense, actually. So profit in 3 years. Hang on. I want to check something. What is 0.94? Hang on. One of these days, I will manage to get it to not scroll when I zoom out. Or rather, when I tab out. Never mind. I will not... Oh, there we go. I got it to not scroll. I don't know how to do that, like, constantly, but... Okay, cool. So we need to open up a calculator real quick here because I'm just checking to see, is this a simple naive calculation? We're going to find out. So if we look at this, we can see that this is saying that Debark is going to have a profit in 3 years of 20.04. So 0.94 times 12 to get us the annual profit, theoretically, times 3. That's a very different number. How are they getting this number? Probably scaled based on the control and market access. I'm betting that's what it is. Okay, I'm tabbed out again. Let me hang on. Let me get this calculator back. Okay, so this is now 0.94 times 12 times 3 times, and then this is 84.4%, so 0.844. And then multiply that by 0.818. Well, that's kind of ballpark. It's probably not quite that calculation for the scaling, but that gets us into a ballpark area of how they're calculating that. Okay, sure. So for now, I'm just going to continue to mass expand here. Debark is a decent choice. We are negative on our laborers here, but these laborers are not working on this farm. The farm is full. So it is probably better for us to expand the RGO in Debark, but it's not better in Yeha because we can see that the employment here is quite low. So we need to let that build back up, but we can definitely build in Debark just like that. Okay, we're having a really hard time getting lumber over to Gondar. That's for sure. So that's interesting. We do need to hold a parliament, and let's go ahead and do so. What are we going to go for? Expanding the gravel road network is probably ideal. Eventually, I'm going to figure out how building roads works, but for right now, I'm just going to do this. Okay, cool. I would like to do inflation reduction, but we can only do that so often, it seems. So that's understood. But hey, at least we're down to like 186, right? That's a significant improvement. We've dropped our inflation by like 50%. So that's fantastic. We'll continue to move towards offensive. That sounds good. And we're really struggling to get this lumber over here. That's definitely noted. I'm wondering why that is. Is that a market access issue? This is our proximity here. Our control is 67%. And there is a road between Gondar and Lalabella, looks like. So that's interesting. I'm wondering why we're having a hard time getting lumber here. Where's our market access? That's our food productivity. Our food is at -6. That's understood. This is our building levels. And we can have up to 24 building levels. Mostly due to our development. Okay, sure. I don't know why we're not getting lumber out over here, but presumably there's a reason for it, and I probably just have something configured incorrectly. Most likely. So that's understood. I don't think we have a well, we do have a lumber shortage in Gondar. We can see available negative 8.99 there. And the real question is, do we have the same level of lumber throughout our entire market? Let's take a look at the market in Axum here. And I want to look at lumber. There's only relevant goods in market. I want to look at all goods. Lumber. Minus 8.99 in the market balance due to supply 13.57 and demand of 22.57. So it just need to produce more lumber in it, is what it means. We could import lumber. If we imported it from the Adon market... Okay. So we could definitely import it, but I would rather produce it. We do have access to creating additional lumber. We're not capped on that. And Dima is within the Axum market. What we really need here is these laborers to get promoted up. There are plenty of peasants, but it does take a while. It's 15 per month that we're promoting right now. So that is absolutely understood. We could work somewhere that is quote-unquote less profitable. So I'm going to do lumber. And we see that this is within the Axum market as well. Presumably this is lower due to the efficiency multiplied by control. Yeah, it's because of the control. Okay. I'm going to start building there. And then we can see about building a road out over here. Okay, I don't think that's actually built. That's telling us the path the road will take. 765 ducats. That's a lot of ducats. We can get it relatively easily. And a road would increase our control level here, I believe, because it would boost our proximity. Our proximity is our primary issue. So that's understood. Losing some ducats or losing 5% support in Parliament. We'd be trading legitimacy. Sure. They'll have to endure like the rest of us. And then we can take aristocratic support like that. And then that'll pass. No problem. So this road is going to be very expensive. And I'm wondering what the cost of this is influenced by. Okay, so sure, that's fine. But I'm more interested... Oh, this is now 955. Well, that's exciting. Inflation is a big part of that. No doubt about that. In fact, it's mostly inflation. So that is very significant. I'm wondering if we can... I'm going to open the road builder here. If we can build the road partially... That's showing 1582. Interesting. So we know that this has a much higher connection. What happens if we build a road from here to here? That would be about the same price. That is insanely expensive. Now, to be clear, a lot of that is because of our inflation. Our inflation makes things very painful. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to continue to work on our internals, and probably we're going to start working on our army pretty soon. Most likely. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Thylo K, The Omniscient, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Punching the Microphone, Nick Smarty, The Lounge STL, Spock, Moonfall, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.